Thank you for joining us on Top People. I'm here today with Eric Montague. As a financial advisor, I get to meet some amazing people in my career, and Eric happens to be one of those people that I've been fortunate enough to cross paths with. He's got an amazing story. He's built a number of different companies. One of the companies, Executech, is a local company here. We'll talk about Executech, but just some of the awards that you've won: Best of State, an Inc. 5000 honoree, Utah 100 company. You were honored by the Utah government as one of 5 of the best places to work in all of Utah, and you were awarded the 40 Under 40 award, where you're recognized as one of the 40 most successful executives under the age of 40. So, I mean, man, where do you go after that, right? What's next? It's just amazing. So thank you for joining me
Absolutely.
Today.
Glad to be here.
I'm excited just to have a conversation with you, and I love just kind of starting from, let's go back. You're not from Utah?
I'm from Utah, born and raised in the great city of Sandy.
Oh man, Sandy's a great place.
Produces good people.
So let's just start with Executech, or was Executech your first company?
Yeah.
So Executech was your first company, and tell us about Executech. What does Executech do? And then I'd love to understand how you started that and just kind of the makings of where it's at today, and then we can kind of just go from there.
It's a great question. When I was in college, I was studying in mechanical engineering, and as I was going to college, I was helping people on the side with their computers. And I built kind of a customer base during that period in college. And by the time I was getting to the point that I would graduate college, I realized that if I took a position in what I was going to get my degree in, it would be a pay cut at that point, because I was doing well servicing clientele as a nerd for hire. So I thought that the reason I was successful was most people that are hired to do IT work are people that you wouldn't even want to be seen with on the street. They're the type of guy that sits in the corner office, throw him in a burger, but don't talk to him unless you absolutely have to, right? That's your typical tech guy. And I was trying to be the antithesis of that and be personable and have a personality and be able to talk to people, explain technology to them. And I thought if I could hire other people that were like-minded, that I could have a very successful company. So instead of going into my field of study, I incorporated Executech in June of 1999, and 17 years later we have 67 field techs and manage and maintain about 800 networks throughout the Intermountain West.
Wow.
Yeah.
And most people have probably seen the Executech cars driving around on the freeway. Yeah. Those are everywhere. Those are great to spot those.
It's funny to see the texts that I get from friends when they spot a car, Hey, is this guy supposed to be off right now? It looks like he's at home, or where, it's funny. Hey, this guy's texting while he's driving, or hey, this guy, one of your employees is, man, doing this or doing that. It's funny. Yeah.
It's like it's a free watchdog.
It's a moving billboard, and I get
great.
I get so many calls on my friends that see the cars. It's funny.
I see them and I think maybe I should take a picture.
Yeah.
But Executech you guys are in Sandy off 106 South now. Yeah. You're building a new building off of 114th and 13th West.
Correct.
Right there on the corner there. I've seen it coming up.
Yeah.
And as just still in growth mode.
Yeah, we're still in growth mode. So we are an IT services provider. We have 3 areas of revenue: labor services, hardware, and then cloud services.
So for somebody that doesn't know what labor services is, what is labor services?
Yeah, so companies that need IT support in any aspect, they hire us to do that for them. And that's what our labor services would be. For the most part, it's companies that are large enough that they have a computer network, but not large enough to suffice hiring a full-time person. So for us, that's usually around 200 employees or less. That's the majority of our clients. We have clients that have more than that, but most are somewhere between 50 to 75. We have ones in the 100 or 150, but people that hire us instead of hiring their own IT person, and everything from CTO level to support all the way down to help desk for whatever people need. So our bucket of revenue that's labor services is just that. We have technicians come out on site to our clientele and manage and maintain their computer network.
And what were the other?
The other two buckets are cloud services and hardware. So, and it's interesting because our revenue is pretty evenly split over the three. And the cloud services are email, phones, backup, antivirus, servers on the cloud. Most, 4 or 5 years from now, it'll be pretty rare that servers will actually be in an office anymore. It'll, for the most part, be on the cloud. And then, obviously, hardware, selling computers, servers, laptops to support our clients and give them whatever they need.
So when something's on the cloud, I understand what that means. I use Box, I use those kind of accounts to save things. But when a company does it, is it their own cloud or is it outsourced to a third party? I just am curious for my own sake because they're not storing it on their own servers, right?
Yeah.
Stored through.
Yeah, that's a very good question. We do both. There are some products that have been commoditized that allow people to go to the cloud in a very simple fashion. You mentioned one Box. There are many others that are like that allow people to go to the cloud for very simple needs: Word, Excel, PDF, simple files. Most companies also have some type of software package that they run their business on. For a lot of small businesses, it may be QuickBooks, but there's just many different ERP packages of, I am a landscaper and I have this landscaping software that runs my business. So we help author a plan for that software to be on the cloud. Sometimes a software provider may have a offering already for that to be on the cloud, and sometimes we just build their own cloud. So we go to a co-location facility, turn on a server, set up their software on that server so they no longer have to have a server in their office. And it is more cost effective than, it sometimes is more cost effective than having your own server.
How is, because of all the data protection, data security, all those things that are happening right now, what should people be doing if you're somebody that watches this as a business owner and their data could be at risk? What kind of things are you telling customers or clients to help protect that data? What systems are out there and just what's going on in that area? I know that's a huge
concern. Yeah, it's I like that you brought it up because it is a violently important topic. The thing that people don't understand about data security is most every company out there stores data that is sensitive information. If I am a doctor, obviously people know HIPAA and they know that as a doctor I'm supposed to protect this information. But so many other organizations hold credit card information or other forms of information that could be used for identity theft. So it is critical to protect that data. So to the point of your question was, what should people be watching out for? They want to make sure that the data is being protected in such a way that if it were hacked in any way, that they have taken precautionary measures to protect that data as much as possible. The challenge that a business owner has is the laws state that if you're a business owner and you own Jordan's famous burger shop and you have 8 burger stores on the corners of the roads throughout Utah.
I like where this is going.
Yeah, I like it too. 8 would be about what you need to keep up your lifestyle.
Yeah.
So
keep up my eating lifestyle.
Your housing may be credit card data. If your network was breached, the laws state that you are as responsible for that data as the perpetrator, unless you can prove that you tried to protect it.
Okay.
So if something were to happen with it, it's a challenge because you could be the one financially liable for all of the damage. So most of the cloud software packages have some compliance schedules that they follow. The one that is the most popular was historically called SAS 70. It's now called SOC, SOC, Service Organization Compliance. So if you are going to the cloud, you don't want to do it blindly. For example, you brought up a good company, Box. box is HIPAA compliant. Dropbox is not HIPAA compliant. I can't tell you the number of doctor's offices I've been into where I walk in and I see all the files are on Dropbox, right? So there are different products out there that may or may not be compliant depending upon a certain set of criteria in a compliance schedule. So you want to research not just the product. Does this product that we're looking at on the cloud solve our needs? We want to make sure that it also has some compliance schedule criteria and it's gone through audits or things like that to make sure that it is a compliant product that we can feel safe about our data being there.
That's amazing stuff. That's so relevant now with all the data breaches and everything that's going on.
Yeah.
And a lot of business owners, I don't think, realize that if they do have a breach or a hack or whatever it is, that they're potentially liable for that happening and those things. So
there was a very prevalent hack in the state of Utah. Fast food chain, one franchise owner owned 8 franchises, and his system was hacked. It was hacked through one of his franchises, one store, and a simple firewall would have prevented it. And all of his 8 stores were interconnected, so the perpetrator got information from credit cards that had been processed at every 8 store, and the feds fined him $880,000 for 8 stores.
wow.
I imagine that's his profit for the forthcoming decades.
Yeah.
So that's a rough thing. You have to be very careful when you're housing data.
And you mentioned the third revenue stream is hardware, probably the computers and all those things. How have you seen, or have you seen employees or companies going more mobile, going more remote? And how, I don't know if, I just thought of this question, so I don't know if this is something you guys deal with, but companies that have people working from home, do you work with companies like
Absolutely.
that? And how has that changed the business? Because it's all gone to the cloud, I guess, and different things as far as software and hardware you see being used. And Executech is on kind of that, you're able to do that.
Yeah, for sure. What's been interesting to me is as I've helped my clients analyze website traffic, for example, if you look at it as a pie chart, it's been interesting to watch. You can view with Google Analytics who's going to your website from what type of device.
Yep.
And it's been really interesting to watch that pie chart change of a desktop type computer, a laptop or an actual tower or whatever, to a mobile device versus a tablet. Those are kind of the 3 areas they categorize it, meaning a phone, a tablet, or an actual computer. 5 years ago, it was dominated by computer. Now it's dominated by phone.
Yeah.
So phone takes more than 50% of most website traffic, and then tablet and computer break up the other remaining half. So that's been interesting to watch that pie chart kind of roll like a clock wheel right around. And then to your point, it's been really exciting to work with clients that have 10,000 feet of Class A office space where they have so much space to put people, and they've doubled their employee count but not had to increase renting any more space because in today's world we can provide a safe, secure environment for people to telework from home and have everything they need as if they were at the office.
When you talk about that pie chart moving from mobile and you're looking up at somebody's, an analytics, what kind of things, do you do consulting that way to help a company kind of move into that? Why would that be important to you to know working with a customer as far as what people are looking at? Why is that data important to you?
How I work with it with clients is so many people are a small business. They've got 30 employees. They can't afford a CTO, or they don't have somebody to get CTO advice from. Whereas at Executech, we got a large strata of expertise at our company. And we have 6 people that are extremely tenured in the industry, know what they're doing. They could, in a heartbeat, take over as a CTO of probably any company in the state of Utah. And so we will go to those companies and give them advice. And to your specific question, why would we be looking at that? We're not an SEO firm, so we're not helping people improve their page ranking or
that's why I
pay-per-click.
ask,
Yeah, but what we are doing is if you're the CEO of John's Table Manufacturing Company and you want to know how to improve it may be that, you've got a website designer, you've got a graphical designer helping with the site, and you've got someone helping the SEO, the search engine optimization, but you want someone to help you take all of that Greek and put it into English and give you some good advice, and that's what we do often. We often sit as the CTO of multiple companies. I'm personally named as the CTO of probably 20 companies throughout the Valley, and I spend time with them in their executive meetings and help them with everything that they may need that's a piece of technology advice.
We're seeing billboards off of I-15 now that it's Silicon Slopes. It's kind of the new thing. What do you see going on here locally from that standpoint? I mean, obviously there's buildings coming up. Is this just as big of a tech boom in Utah as it appears to be? What are your thoughts on that as far as what we're going to see in Utah over the next maybe 5-10 years?
Yeah, Utah's phenomenal. We have a very specific and successful group of talent in the state of Utah for tech, and we're very unique in that way. There's not a lot, you obviously have Silicon Valley, but people talk about Utah as just this, that's where the term Silicon Slopes comes from, is because it is a little Silicon Valley, right? And we have great talent. That is why it's there. We've had some great entrepreneur people that have built some great software companies in Utah. There are phenomenal companies in Utah that some have been bought, and so that's where it is, and that has fostered, so many other little companies coming off of it. Because XYZ company did great and went big, I know that I can do it with my idea, and so there's been great ideas that have come to fruition of people that have built really good companies. They're obviously all centered right there at the point of the mountain, and it has been a great boom for Utah. It helps bring a lot of good talent to Utah. It also makes the talent strained as well, so that's all the good stuff. The flip side is there's a lot more jobs than there are talent. And so it is an interesting environment as an employer to be successful in such a competitive technology market as is the state of Utah.
Yeah, so you're constantly competing. Speaking of being an employer, when you win, the Utah Government Award being one of 5 of the best places to work in the state of Utah, why do you think you win that award? And what makes Executech one of the 5 best places to work in the state of Utah, in your opinion?
I have a really unique opportunity, and I love it. And what that is, we have these 67 techs, right? And they are all just wickedly smart people. And I work with the IT dream team. I really do. There aren't many IT organizations, meaning as a department of companies throughout America, that have 67 of the smartest people you can find in a state. We have 67 brilliant people. So the thing why people love working here as a technologist is technologists are project-oriented people by nature. They want to come in, fix this, and then move on. They also want the stability of a company that can provide them benefits and a long-term career and not just contract work. There's a lot of organizations in Utah that are contract work, where as a technologist you can get a 6-month gig somewhere or something like that. So people love working in Executech because in 1 year they'll get 10 years worth of experience as compared to working somewhere else. Because they come here and they may be assigned as Jordan's tech. I take care of Jordan, that's my job, but also with 66 other guys, we manage all these networks. We're projects on the weekend. We get to see new technologies. It's as if you're working for for hundreds of other companies, but you don't have that stress of working for hundreds of other companies. You work for Jordan and maybe 3 other clients, but you get the opportunity to see all these different technologies and work in them. And it is a fun environment to work with that many great people. And so people love it. We work really hard at culture. I love the, it's an old phrase that I can't remember the gentleman's name that said it, but the phrase culture eats strategy for lunch. I love that phrase. We say it all the time at Executech, and we build that culture. We work very hard for people to know that we are a people company. People ask me all the time, well, what does Executech do?
Yeah.
I'm a people company. That's what I am. It may be I'm delivering you technology, but I'm a people company. I hire people, my clients are people, my vendors are people. We go by some strict standards from a book called Leadership and Self-Deception, where you treat everybody like a person, no matter what they are, in any instance, because technology is hard. It's a really hard industry. When stuff crashes, the whole world is on fire.
Yeah.
You know, if you're running a restaurant and the thing's down and you got 30 people in line that you can't seat at a table or can't run credit cards, it's a big issue. And so you have to really be uber sensitive to working with people and working with their feelings and their needs. And, you know, Executech is a people company, and that's what we do. That's
great the way you put that, because technology can be, you know, especially when something breaks down, or just the lingo of it can go right over somebody's head very quickly. And so it's great that you've taken that approach to dumb it down for the rest of us so that we can understand, you know, what's going on and the help that we need. Well, thank you. And it is becoming, and just because I know you, hunting season is coming.
Yes, it is.
And for those of you, Eric is an avid hunter.
I love hunting.
Yeah, and we were at another event last year, and we had a professional football player speak before you, and
that was funny.
That was funny. But you know, you came up and said, how did you put it as far as a sport, right?
Well, it was funny because it was at an event where there were 3 or 4 speakers, and I had to follow, you know, this NFL amazingness, right? It's like, okay, here's our lineup today. NFL player, he's 7 foot 400, he's handsome, his shoulders are this broad, and he's got great stories and good pictures and all that. And then after that, you have a nerd. And so it's kind of like, and so I just joked, because he was talking everything was a sports cliche, obviously, when he was talking. Great person, I have great respect for him. And I just said, well, in my sport, we kill things.
Yeah, that's right.
In my sport, stuff dies.
Yeah.
So it's a, you know, I really enjoy hunting. I enjoy, Executech is a huge, it's interesting because Executech's a huge sponsor of many environmental organizations in Utah. When you say environmental organizations, you would think that doesn't mean hunting, but it actually does. The Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation, the Mule Deer Foundation, those sponsor more habitat protection than any other organization in the state of Utah. They have done more for the environment for the state of Utah than any other organization, compared to, you know, an anti-hunting organization that hasn't really done a lot for the state and environment. And Executech's a huge sponsor of those organizations. We financially support them, and obviously because it's part of what I enjoy doing, but it's also because I enjoy the state. I enjoy giving back to the state and helping ensure future generations have the opportunity that I have. I love being in the mountains. I love the reverence of hunting an animal in its environment, and passing on 999 animals for the opportunity to shoot one. I've had many opportunities to shoot animals that I didn't, just because I knew it wasn't the right situation. And I've also had the opportunity to harvest some very amazing, beautiful animals and feed my family with it. My daughter was at church when she was a little younger, and it was a funny situation because the teacher was talking about asking everybody, tell us what you're thankful for today. That's what we want this lesson to be today. What are you thankful for? And all the other kids in the class are saying what they're thankful for. And one kid says, I'm really thankful for cows. And the teacher says, well, why are you thankful for cows? And he says, well, because they're delicious. And my daughter starts crying.
Oh.
And she's like, your family eats cows? Cows are for milk. Elk and deer is what you eat, not cows. So it's kind of funny when you feed your family wild game that they view what everyone else views as cows or sheep. It's funny. So I really enjoy hunting. And Utah's an amazing state to be able to do it.
Yeah. One of the things I didn't plan on bringing up is with Executech, you've also been an entrepreneur and helped start or co-founded a company called Betty's. Mm-hmm. And if you're okay with talking about Betty's, tell for anybody watching or talk a little bit about Betty's. This is one of the most fascinating stories.
Yeah.
And from what I know, you've partnered with a couple of people here locally, and kind of just tell that story.
I'd love to tell the story. My wife and I, when we were much younger without kids, we lived in a great little starter home neighborhood, and we had some really close neighbors that even though all of us moved away from that neighborhood as our lives changed, we've stayed very close with. And one of those people in that neighborhood was a lady named Elizabeth Meitzel. She goes by Betsy. And Betsy also befriended a lady named Angela White. And a few years ago, they approached me about a concept for an idea they had. And they wanted to come up with a zippered bedding system to make a process of a child making a bed easy so that you could do it quickly, so you're not fighting with your kids about making a bed. Or if it's bunk beds are horribly difficult to make that easy, but also make it fashionable. And they needed a little bit of business help and also financial help. And so I invested in that company. It is a phenomenal product. The website is zipyourbed.com. And it's been very interesting for me because my whole career has been one of working with services, working on the consulting side of the house. Yep. I've never worked on the product side of the house where so we have patents. We have 3 patents on the product. Going to sourcing it to make it from scratch. I've seen our product from the big cotton bales in China, huge cotton bales, all the way to it being made into thread, to fabric, to producing a bed with zippers on it. And it's been fun to see that and see the differences because it's dramatically different. It's been very interesting to see how different a services company is compared to a product company.
Manufacturing and getting it out.
Yeah.
So Betty's, it's a zip up your bed, right? It's an all-in-one system.
Yeah.
That's it. I wish I would have had something like that when I was a kid.
It's so what's nice about it is it's all in one. The whole thing is fitted, so it goes on as one unit. So the bottom sheet is there, the top sheet is there, the comforter is there, and it all zips up. But the zipper is hid in the design of the bed so that you don't see it. It doesn't look cheesy. It's a high quality bed. It is, and it's fantastic. And that company has grown 600% for 3 years in a row. So it's been astronomical, through the roof, just through the stratosphere growth. It's been a wild ride. It's been a lot of fun. And it's been good to be part of it.
How primarily has that product been marketed and sold? Just via word of mouth? Social media, you're kidding.
Yeah, it's for the most part it's social media.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's been really good. We've also had the opportunity recently to be on West Texas Investors Club. We were just on television as a company a couple months ago. That gave us a huge spike. We've been able to partner with other people in social media that's helped us out a lot. But social media is the #1 driver of it. Moms that see the product and share it on social media, and it's been phenomenal. It's been a lot of fun to be part of.
That's awesome. That's so great. Well, thank you for joining me today. I appreciate it. And if somebody wanted to get a hold of Executech or get a hold of you, what's the best way to reach out to Executech?
Yeah, I should have said that early, didn't I?
Well.
mycoolnerds.com.
Is it really?
Yeah, mycoolnerds.com is our website. We obviously have executech.com.
Yeah.
We have helpwithcomputers.com.
Yeah, that's one I've seen.
And they all go to the same website, but the one that's funnest for people to remember is mycoolnerds.com. My email's on there. People can contact me, eric@executech.com.
Okay.
And Betty's, like I said, zipyourbed.com. Both great companies, Utah, strong companies that have helped employ and helped the economy of Utah.
Fun. Great.
Thank you.
Thanks, Eric.
Yeah, good to see you.
Appreciate it.